Have you ever noticed how some of your thoughts just seem to be automatic? It's like they were running on a script that you didn't consciously choose. It happens to all of us. Now, the truth is, why does this happen? The truth is, most of us are living out of patterns. And these patterns were installed many, many years ago, back in our childhood days. And unless we consciously interrupt them, they keep shaping our decisions, our behaviors, our results as we're going forward. It could become quite frustrating where, if you think about it, you could be living your life on autopilot. And when you reflect back, you actually can't remember the actions that you've taken. You can't remember, why did I say that? Why did I make that decision? And this is what shapes our future. Now, this is where we need to reprogram our minds. We need to take control and almost, and I don't want to say delete the patterns of the past, but we need to restructure them, because the patterns of the past are not well suited for the future that you typically desire. So, how do we do this? How do we go back and reframe and reprogram our mind so that we're more in control with those actions that go forward? I know that I've sat down with clients and I have these deep conversations. And one of the conversations is, tell me the journey that you've taken to get to where you are right now. And they can highlight a number of aspects of it. And I normally ask with a follow-up question, so why did you make that decision? And that's where I get a lot of blank looks. It's a lot of, well, I'm not too sure. It felt right. It was a decision that was influenced by outside people. It was a decision that was influenced by, well, I don't know. And this is what we want to reprogram. We want to make sure that when you are going forward, you don't start acting in a way that's just on autopilot. Because autopilot means, well, your future isn't actually in your control. It's actually just basically placed in front of you, and you are just carrying on every single day. And that's not by design. That's going to be by default. We want to change the narrative. So how do we do that? Well, this took me some time to actually go deep, do some reflections, and start to understand the key aspects behind it. Why is it that we're on autopilot? Why is it the patterns of our past are so relevant to us now? What is it that makes a change in those patterns? I looked and I uncovered all of these different areas. And I came up with 5 tips that can help you to kind of reprogram those patterns. Now, just as a side note, this is not going to reprogram your brain. You're not going to be hypnotized and suddenly everything's going to change. This is going to take some time, and it's going to take some conscious effort from yourself. But ultimately, what it's going to do is to learn from the past, the patterns that have worked, and it's going to restructure them in a fashion that's going to help you to support that path going forward. You see, wouldn't you just love this? Wouldn't you just love the path in front of you? The decisions that you made were automatic, and every single one of them was correct. Every single one of them led to that desired outcome or goal. Imagine that world. Well, that you can do. And that's what I want to share with you. So what are these 5 tips that I've actually gone back and done a bit of research to actually understand? Now, these are core tips. That means that you have to be in control of each one of them. Now, the first one that I want to share with you is, and this is so true, when something happens, you cannot control the first thought that comes into your mind. You can't control that one because that just appears. But you can control the second. You see, the very first thought that comes into your mind, it is actually what we refer to as a conditioning thought. It's a thought that's coming into our mind and we're about to act on it. The problem is, if we just act instinctively in an automatic way, that means you're running on autopilot. What we need to do is we can't control the first, but we can control the second. The second allows you to have the choice. And really, where the power comes in, when you come up to a whatever decision making it is, and that first thought that jumps into your mind, don't act. Take a deep breath. Think about it. Is that the right? Is there an alternative? You see, you want to create a second thought because it's the second thought that you can articulate and you can correctly go, I've learned from this, I should do that. And then you make your decision. I'm sure you've heard this, and this has come so many times. You have this, I've got to buy this book on Amazon. I've been told about this book and I need to buy this book. And we instinctively buy this book. Next minute lands up in our house and we never read it. In fact, we kind of like go, let me put this book with all the rest of the books. Have you been guilty of that? I've been guilty of that. So something that was shared with me, and this is where this came out. When you get that instinctive first thought, sleep on it. It's the pause that creates the power. Because the next day you're going to go, okay, do I really need that book? Well, no. You see, in the moment, I was influenced to buy that book. And it was that first thought that got me energetic. And that's what gets us into trouble. We sign agreements. We actually pay for items. We buy items based on that first thought. What we need to do is pause, create the second, and then act. It's the second that gives us the choice. So that's the first one, which is you can't control that first thought, but don't act on it. Allow the pause so that you can get into the second. So that's the first one. The second one is recognize that you're running on patterns. This is a very difficult one to realize. It's one where you've got to sit and reflect on all the actions and activities that you've done over a day, over a week, over a month, sometimes even over a year. Now, we have this programmed into our system, these repeat experiences. And it goes something like this. You wake up in the morning at a certain time. When you get out of bed, there are a certain level of habits and activities that you do in an almost subconscious manner. You might put on some slippers. You may go to the bathroom. You may drink some water. You may pick up your phone. You may just walk into the kitchen and have a cup of coffee. These are automated. These are what we refer to as patterns that we do every single day. Now, some patterns actually serve you. So getting up and having this automated way to put on your running shoes to get ready for running in the morning, that's an automated that's going to serve you. But there's others that limit you. Waking up the morning and immediately opening your phone when you can't even see it. Your eyes are so blurry. They haven't even set themselves to see, and you can't even read the screen, and you're battling, and then suddenly you see that one email that comes, and then that's it. So some of these patterns serve you and some of them don't. But it's the awareness that we need to create, and that's the starting point of change. Now, to do this, it's quite straightforward and simple. There's an easy method and there's a hard method. The hard method is every 20 minutes, you actually write down the activity that you're doing. So you have this little time schedule. Every 20 minutes, this is what I did. 20 minutes later, this is what I did, so that you can actually reflect on it. That's the hard method, because that sometimes can get involved in our particular day. The easy method is just do a simple reflection, a reflection that breaks your day into 5 segments. Early morning, morning, afternoon, late afternoon, evening. Simple as that. Break it down into these 5 different sections and identify what do we do early morning before we go to work, the morning, the afternoon, late afternoon, and evening. Once we've got all of those together, we get an idea of everything that is actually structured in patterns in our day. When we reflect on those, we actually can see the good habits and the bad habits, the ones that we need to remove and the ones that we need to keep, the ones that are serving us and the ones that are limiting us. Those are the patterns that we make reference to. So make sure that you can understand those particular patterns so that you can actually start to make those changes. As I said, it starts with the awareness of them. Now, the third tip is actually using a framework. It's a framework that we use that helps us to be aware, practice, and having this repetition. It's commonly called the APR framework. All right, the APR framework. Now, I know this is going to be something new to you, but you can actually almost write this down and you're going to go, this makes sense. So in using the APR framework, it works like this. First is the awareness. You've got to notice the behaviors and thoughts in real time, not the past, in real time. It's when you're going and you're getting influenced by somebody and you're about to make an action, and that's when you need to have the awareness. The second is the practice. Decide in advance what you will do instead. Now, this comes into if you're going into a sales environment where someone's going to sell you something, what you're going to do is you're going to prep yourself. Prep yourself to say, when that salesperson comes up to me, I need to be aware, but my practice is not going to be, yes, I'm going to do it. It's going to have some form of rebuttal that will delay, that will pause. That's the key. It'll pause so that you can then go forward. And then the repeat, the repetition is to reinforce this until it becomes automatic. You see, this APR framework is something that can be ingrained into you, that you can actually, suddenly I'm aware I'm in the situation. I know how to respond because I've practiced this. I know how I'm going to go with this, and I repeat it until it becomes automatic on an ongoing basis. That's the third tip that I want to share with you. Now, the fourth tip is actually probably an easier one to do. Replace, don't just remove it. So what you need to do here is don't fight a negative pattern, replace it. So for example, if you're going around with a negative self-talk, those affirmations that are in your head or those words in your head that are negative, replace it with a positive affirmation. If you know that you wake up in the morning going, oh, I'm so tired, I'm stiff, I'm not sure if I can do this, I've got the fear of speaking to this person, they're going to come back to me, replace them with positive affirmations. So don't just remove something that's negative. Replace it with something. When you're actually procrastinating, set yourself up that you get into the habit of, for instance, the 2-minute rule. The 2-minute rule means that within 2 minutes, you need to have started it and be in progress with it, not sit there for 2 minutes thinking about it. So if you have that procrastination, replace it with something that's positive. You see, ultimately, the brain doesn't want to delete things. The brain wants a new pathway. It wants a new pathway that it can follow, not just a hole, because when there's a hole, ultimately, it's going to fill it up with that negative activity or that negative thought, that negative limiting action. And that's going to actually put you back into the automatic ways. You need to reprogram it. So replace it. Don't just remove it. That's a key one that comes in here. Then the fifth one, and this is the last one. The fifth one is actually something that each and every one of you can actually do. And we know that we have these large tasks that could be in front of us. In other words, or for example, you could be standing in front of somebody and they are so powerful in getting you to buy things. You could actually just create these small interruptions. That's all you do. So pause before you're reacting is a great way of doing it. But create these small interruptions. And the best example that I can share with you, especially when you're in front of a salesperson and they're saying you've got to buy this product, it's going to last you for the lifetime, and they're really selling it to you, the small interruption could be, let me speak to my partner. I want to get their thoughts on it. Or, hey, and the classic one is, I just need to go to the bathroom quickly and I'll be right back. Or, what does this product have that this one doesn't have? You see, it's these small interruptions that gets you the chance to think. This is really what you need to do, is when you're in these situations, just create small interruptions, something that distracts you to something else intentionally, so that you give this chance to breathe, to internalize, and actually see, oh, okay, if I actually just said yes, I could be in trouble. So these were the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you. The first one, you can't control your first thought, but you can control the second. So you need to have that break, that pause between the two. The second is recognize patterns that you're running with. Patterns in the morning, early morning, afternoons, late afternoons, evenings. You need to start recognizing these particular patterns. The third one is using that framework, the APR framework. Awareness, so that you notice in real time what's happening. Practice, making sure that you've got some form of preparation to be able to respond. And third, the repetition, that it actually repeats on an ongoing basis so it becomes automatic for you. The fourth one, don't remove it, replace it. Don't create a void. Replace it with something else. If it's negative talk in your head, replace it with positive affirmations that can actually then become something of a habit as you're going forward. And the fifth one is create these small interruptions. These small interruptions that are purposeful. When you know that that first thought's coming into your head, create that distraction, an intentional distraction, so that you can see something else to basically bring you back. Remember, it supports the first tip, which is you give choice on your second thoughts. So that was the 5 tips that I wanted to share with you today. And I know that this is going to help you in your business as well as in your personal life, because ultimately we need to reprogram our minds to get off the automatic train and start getting onto that path where we are in control. So here's a powerful quote that I want to share with you. Repetition is the mother of all skill. What you consistently practice becomes who you are. Repetition is the mother of all skill. What you consistently practice becomes who you are. Remember, learning creates awareness. It's the actions that creates results. I want you to take one thing from this particular session, put it into your diary, and schedule it so that you can change your life as you're going forward.